Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we explore entertaining and enlightening discussions of the adventure of life and all things good. From science and technology to history and philosophy to leadership and success. We hope to give you a better understanding of the world and skills for everyone to pursue their own adventure. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we talk about all things good, the pursuit of the adventure of life. I'm Zach. We got a fantastic show here today. We're going to talk about a lot of things and how to put people in better places than how we found them. So, as always, I'm joined by Rafe. Rafe, how are you doing today?
Zach, I am, I was thinking I'm phenomenal. I'm absolutely phenomenal. It is a great day to be doing a podcast with you. Before we start, though, I want to say thank you to all the listeners. Without you guys, we're just talking at the wall. We are everywhere out on the internet. If you need to find us, we're out there somewhere. If you want to talk to us specifically, send us an email at bufnagle@bufnagle.com. We are on Apple Podcasts and Twitter and all sorts of other places like that. Hey, if you are new to our podcast, welcome. Thank you for coming. We are glad that you are here. Hey, give us 4 episodes or so. See if you don't find something that what do they say, piques your fancy or something. All right, and we'll give you reasons to come back for more. We always talk about lots of different things, and surely there will be something that resonates with you. And remember, tell a friend to listen, and you will get a free episode. Don't forget to subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing but a couple seconds of your life. All right, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and that helps us out. That is the way to go. We are eternally grateful for that sort of thing. And Zach, that's where we are. It's a great day. It's a great podcast day. On we go.
On we do go. You're correct with that. So today we're going to talk about a lot of different things that seem to be unrelated, but are truly actually are related. A long while back, we talked about superheroes and superpowers, what it means to be a superhero, and all those other things. But I think the thing we fail to realize as people and individuals is that we all have the potential to be a superhero in our own life. I'm not saying that we have the ability for super strength or flight or super speed, but our potential as a superhero is for the way that we treat other people. And the thing that makes superheroes super is not their super strength or their super speed or their super flight or any other thing that breaks the laws of physics that we are confined by the confine of this earth that we live on. What makes them super is actually their interaction with others and what they do with those powers. And that's what we're exploring about today.
I'm listening to what you're saying here, and I'm thinking that you just told me in a roundabout way that if I have a superpower, I can use that superpower for good or for evil. And if I use it for good, then I'm a superhero. And if I don't use it for good, then I'm like a villain. But the same power could be each. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, but what makes a superhero is the fact that they use those powers to do those things in the furtherance of good. Yes, that fundamentally, end of the day, that's what it is. But we ignore the fact that, when you're 7, you're a 5-year-old, whatever it may be, you want to be Superman, you want to be Batman, you want to do all these other things, but you forget about the fact that you have the potential to do those things. It's just the way that you show up as a hero is different. Because, you don't have the access to the same types of physics breaking rules that they do. Instead, you have the access to your heart, your soul, the kindness in your body, the way that you treat others and interact with them. That kindness, that's a superpower. And I think at some point in our society, we forgot about that. And when we show kindness, people are so, I don't want to say appalled, but they're taken back by it because it's so uncommon to do the commonly well.
I can't argue with that. So the superpower we all have, I guess. Let me go back to that. There are virtues that are within the reach of both prince and pauper alike, to use a cliche, and we all have them. And I think what you're saying is we don't exercise them enough, and they look rare. What we're looking for is we seem to be looking for things that are otherworldly, things that break the bounds of the physical nature of the world. When we can achieve, I guess maybe you're saying we can achieve greatness through what we already have, and it's just a matter of utilizing those virtues, those powers to the good.
I mean, yeah, but like we have the potential to impact other people. Superman saves the train, whatever. He impacts those people who are on that runaway train or Metropolis from being blown up, whatever it may be. But we have the impact to be able to show kindness, generosity, do other things, not because it gives us this fancy award, but because it's good to do that for the good of people. That's our superpower as humanity. But we've gotten so caught up in the fact that like we need to be in a position of power, we need to be a leader, we need to do all these other things before we can do that. When in reality, it's the other way around. If you show that kindness, you show that generosity, you show that genuinity, that authenticity, that's how you bring people together. That's how you create something bigger than the sum of its parts.
So, is there? Do you think that there's disagreement with that? That there are people that move away from that, or you just think it's just not common? Because I know a lot of people that actually do that. Right? I know some people that don't. But I think a lot of people subscribe to that. Do you think it's rarer than obviously it's rarer than it should be, but there's a number of people that are fully behind that. I don't think they see
Well, I
it as
think people are fully behind that idea. They don't actually do that idea though. They're like, "Oh, that's a great idea in practice," but when push comes to shove, sometimes they're just so caught up in their own world that they forget that they have the potential to impact others on immense levels.
so. Is there a trick to recognizing that, or is there a mindset that gets you there, or how do we?
Stop making it about you. I mean, that's the easy thing. It says like, do it. You're doing something for other people. You're there. We're not here to do it for ourselves. We're here to do it as a collective. We've gotten to this point in society where it's very individualistic society. It's why it's hard for us to create great works of art, whether if that's architecture, art, physical art itself, or anything else in between. It's because we're so focused on the individualistic chase of it all that we forgot about the fact that like if I can bring people together, if I can do the things in the pursuit of that, I can create greatness. And that greatness comes from just recognizing and understand that like me being kind to someone, I don't know what type of day they're going through. I don't know what's going through their head, but I have the potential to not worry about me for a little bit and just make sure they feel like the most important person in the room or in the space. And that's such a lost skill and a lost gift, and it's not seen anymore. And then when it is seen as so uncommon that people are almost sometimes taken aback by it.
So how do you practice? I mean, is there a way to practice that? Is it just a mindset? Is this just a is it simply putting yourself second? Is the idea of just to serve? Is that what do they call it? Servant leadership kind of thing, or is it?
Well, if you put
There,
yourself second, then you are never going to be able to fulfill yourself, which is dangerous in its own right. But you have to recognize what are the things, what are the places, what are the people, what are the things that I'm doing that are also going to benefit me by showing up there. This kindness, this generosity, how does it extend to what I need in life and to go forward? That's the potential we have. Like, yeah, we want to be a superhero. We all do. We all want to be a hero. But being a hero is doing the small, inconsequential actions day in, day out, regardless of what feedback we get, regardless of what people think of it. You just do it because end of the day, that's what you're about.
so that is your. We talked a while back about telos, about what you are built for, and is that so? That's how you see everyone's grand purpose is to for lack of a better cliche, is to make the world a better place because you were in it, and the way to do that is to um, is to put yourself out there for others. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. I mean, like, you don't put yourself out there and just sacrifice yourself because then you're not fulfilled and then you're just, there's a disparity in that balance there. But you have got to understand that you're doing stuff. You got to do it for you a little bit too, but you also can't just do everything for everybody else. You got to, take time for yourself, do what you need to do, focus in on your stuff as well. Show that kindness, show that generosity. Do it not because there is a spotlight on you, but do it because that's just what you do.
So what do you think are the hangups that keep people from doing that? Because is that simply a mindset? Is there a way to I don't know. Is there? I'm trying. I don't disagree with any of that. I think, and I think a lot of people do agree with that. But I also agree that it's it's a tough world out there. It's tough, and it can be overwhelming to a lot of people. What's the way to get there? I mean, we can point at it as like this is something we need to do, but um, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to come up with a strategy for getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say, "Oh, yeah, that's a great idea," but a lot of people aren't willing to actually be like, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna push the shopping cart back. I'm gonna, talk to the cashier at the grocery store or whatever it may be. I'm gonna, go out of my way, write a handwritten note to somebody in my life that means a lot to me because you know what, I want them to know that they mean a lot to me. You are not doing any of that stuff for you. You're doing that because you want people in your life who are connected to your life to know that they are valued and mattered. And that kindness, that generosity, that authenticity allows people to be comfortable. It allows a better, more freeing society that allows us to realize, you know what, if I'm working through something difficult, I know that there's somebody who deeply cares about me who will listen rather than be going, well, who do I turn to? Because I'm not sure if I have anybody because I haven't gotten that support that you may need in your life. You never know that how your actions are going to impact somebody. So just show up with kindness because it's not about you at the end of the day. It's about, making those bounds and those connections. Humans are social creatures. We've gotten into this society where it's like you're an introvert, you're an extrovert. We lost this community, this social element where we need to build these bonds and these forges and forge together to be connected so that we can do more together.
So
But we created such an individualistic society where it's like, well, I do X, Y, and Z. That we forgot about this, this showing that kindness, showing up for somebody, and just doing it because they're in your life, and you want them to know that you care about them.
so is it that simple? Is the answer? I mean, I think everybody would agree that we're in a culture, I guess is the right term. We're in a culture that I think nobody really likes, which is kind of interesting. And I'm sure that there are. You talk to anybody with a particular lens, and they will see that the issues through their lens. You talk to religious people, they'll say the problem is religion. You talk to political people, they'll say the problem is politics. You talk to arts people, they'll say it's the arts, right? So, but is the answer as simple as being friendly with the cashier at the grocery store, or is there more to it than that?
I mean, I think it is. It costs you nothing but speaking a little bit, but it allows that cashier person to have a moment of humanity they might not get in their 8-hour shift as a cashier at the grocery store. It allows them a little bit of like, okay, cool, maybe today wasn't that bad. You have the potential to be a superhero, to show that kindness, to show that generosity, to show that authenticity. Do it every single day because you never know the impact that you can have on someone's life just by showing up and just being fully authentically you all the time and not trying to hide in the space that you're in because it's like, well, this space, if I say that, I might get, shunned or shot down or somebody might not like that opinion. It's like, no, you say that because there's somebody out there who might need you to say that.
So is this? We've talked about um, we talked about virtues of things like gratitude, and this seems to me an awful lot like being grateful for where you are and what is going on in your life. Is that an accurate summary of that? Is it, or
I
is it
think
more?
so.
Is it more than that?
I think there's also more to it than just oh, I'm grateful because I have X, Y, Z. It's also looking at the fact that like you can say I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z, but do you actually let the people know in your life that you're grateful for them? Or do you just send a birthday text on the birthday that says, hey, happy birthday? Or do you go out of your way and say, hey, you're someone who's important to me in my life. Let me show you that in a way that is meaningful for me, showing my soul, my heart into that message. It's vulnerable, it's opening, it's it can be difficult, but it lets people be softer. And we're a very hard society these days.
Do you think that's a protection mechanism? Like people do that? They do that to protect themselves?
Oh, 100%. Because if they have shown that before in the past, then maybe they've been shut down, so they don't do it again. So they've learned to protect themselves, and no, I don't do that. But when one person shows up that kindness, one person shows and models what it looks like, that they can that you can have that potential, that you can have that greater impact. It impacts people. It allows people to feel more comfortable. It allows people to have moments of humanity that they may not have normally had.
So, okay, so the way I see this is there is the way I see this is there's this lack of respecting, like you call it, the humanity, the fundamental nature of your fellow man, and without recognizing that is that's a painful thing. That's a thing that causes a lot of strife. It causes uh, it's the source of a lot of ills, I guess is the way to put that. So it starts with recognizing everybody as fully human, and therefore fully worthy of your best efforts toward them. A virtuous attitude of graciousness and humility and gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, I think boiled down to the day, yeah, you mentioned it like politics, religion, stuff like that. I've had people be like, "Well, this person's this religion, so they're not going to be saved in heaven." It's like, cool. You can still be nice to them. You don't need to make them convert to your religion. You don't need to do any of that stuff. You can show them generosity and kindness, and the fact that like you love and care about them because they are in your life in this moment. And we've gotten so by it's the same thing that happens in politics. How many times over the past 5 years have we seen people like, "Well, you're this party, I'm this party, therefore we can't be friends anymore"? That's really what we come to our society
Do
with.
you see people? Have you met people? I mean,
I have
have you
seen that on social media, and I've had interactions with that. Yes.
really? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I've actually seen that happen, and I guess my guess is I probably haven't seen that happen. But it's happened without me seeing it. That people have just stopped interacting with. They just disappear. They just like, I'm out because I don't agree with you on that level. And
Or they're out because it's like I can't express my opinion and feel comfortable doing it because I get responded with hate and vitriol, this harassment, and it's just you want humans want at the end of the day. Humans want there's the Pavlovsky hierarchy in needs. I personally think that's wrong. You got your food, you got your water, you got your shelter, stuff like that, and then you got community. What we actually want is community, because once we have community, we can build shelter. We can have food. We can provide the water. Community is what humans are. We are social creatures. We are not. Yes, we are animals, but we are social animals. Look at any other social animal group. Lions. They hunt in their very, very, very systematic pride systems. If you watch The Lion King, you see a great example of that. But you compare that to something like wolf packs, which are very, there's a wolf pack, but everyone's doing their own little thing. They don't necessarily bring food back together. They might go hunt together, but they're not bringing food back for the pack. They might be doing it for a mom who's nursing a kid, something like that. But they're not necessarily in it for the wolf pack. They're in it for the wolf.
well, but it's a different community, right? I mean, they are structured differently, and so are ants. Ants are like,
Yeah,
right. I mean, they do it to propagate the species, right? That's the whole goal of some of those.
yeah, but their
That's the
end
hive
goal.
mentality.
Yeah, but it's different things. You see it with bees, whatever it is. But when we understand and you look at the fact that humans, end of the day, social creatures that need community. If you don't have community, you feel empty. You don't feel like you're a part of anything, which means that you just go through your days
Well, and
not,
that's
not really doing anything, not really being a part of anything outside of really just you. But if you have that community, if you have a place that you can show up for 2 hours a week and just be part of people, that like a silly little thing that you like, that's worth a lot because it gives you something to look forward to. It allows you to, be like, I get to see my friend that likes this thing with me, and I get to spend time with them. And they're always nice to me too. And I like that way they make me feel. So I'm going to spend more time with them. I like being part of this group, this community, instead of this split world that we currently live in. That's a very individualistic focused.
It's interesting you mentioned. I think you called it Pavlovian. I think it's Maslow, right? Maslow's
Oh
hierarchy of
yeah,
needs. Right? Yeah, whatever. I mean, ring a bell, make a dog drool. Put food over shelter, whatever it is. It's all those psychology things. But but I'm seeing that now because I learned about that. And when do you first learn about that? Probably when you're like 16, taking fundamentals of human behavior or whatever the class is in high school. And it seems to me that Maslow hierarchy, and I haven't looked it up yet, so this is one of the pluses or the minuses of having these things come out just in conversation. Is I don't know when he did that, all right, but my guess is he did that sometime after 1800, probably in the middle 1800s, or early 1900s. And do you have it? Are you looking it up now?
1943.
1943. Okay. So he has this list of needs, and the needs are first and foremost, I'm guessing you're saying they are physical needs, right? Air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat. All right. And then only lower on the list are those.
So it's the ones you just mentioned, then the safety needs, the food, the shelter, the stuff like, and then it's belonging and love.
Yeah. But those last two, belonging and love, those are things that don't sit well in a materialist mindset, in a mindset that approaches each of us as simply physical beings that only require food, shelter, and water and heat, and that's all you need. And if there's a problem with you, then we'll give you a chemical to change your brain, your brain chemistry, and then things will be better. There is more to humanity than the physical state. We are embodied souls, and as such, we have elements to our composition that are not in the physical realm, right? And just what you said, community is a thing. You can take a bunch of people, put them together in the same general. You can take them, put them inside a pasture, and that doesn't make them a community. The community comes from those things that are not physical. It comes from the emotional tie. It comes from commitment. It comes from love. It comes from bonding. And these are things that are not of the physical nature. They are a spiritual nature. And as human beings, we have that nature, and that needs to be fulfilled as well. And I think you're right, is if you can fulfill the community need, those physical needs flower forth from that. You heard that alliteration there, Zach? They're going to flower forth from that, and they are going to they're going to provide you what you need on a physical realm. But you have to address both of those. To only address, to meet the person on the street and say, well, you have a sleeping bag to keep you warm, and here's a hot dog and a pack of cigarettes, and here's a bottle of water. There you go. That's not meeting that guy's needs. There's more to that person than just the physical needs. And I think you're exactly right. The emotional, spiritual, community needs are high as well.
Yeah, and like those things allow people to be comfortable. Like I think you mentioned it, like with people, they don't say something because maybe they've said something in the past and they've been shunned or pushed away or told that what they're going through doesn't matter or isn't relevant because someone has it worse. It's like if someone is feeling that is emotional enough, is vulnerable enough to be able to express like, hey, I need this. And they're talking about the thing they need and you shoot it down. Well, then why would they ever go back to community? Why don't you just be like, okay, cool, I got you. What do you need? Okay, want a hug? Okay, I got you a hug for you. I got you. You're safe. Okay, let's move on to this next thing. Okay, how can we help you put you in a position so you can be successful in the future? And kindness, the ability to show kindness, the ability to consistently show kindness, to consistently show up, to be consistently resilient in what you do and what you believe in. That creates that community, that creates that bond, that creates that thing that's bigger than itself. Yeah, you can go and play, do things with people. But if there's no community aspect there, you could just do that same thing from your computer at home while listening to Foo Fighters. Like, it's just as arbitrary if you think about it. Like, the reason you go on a coffee date isn't to go on a coffee date. It's because you want to be able to sit down with somebody and have a connection. You might as well just go and get donuts. It's just as arbitrary, or go eat some caramels. Whatever you need to do. Yeah, the arbitrary, that's the thing. But the focus needs to be that connection on those people and that community that you're building and the intentionality behind it. Show kindness. Be a superhero. The world needs more superheroes.
And that's that's to me that there's an interesting thing there, is because you're saying be physically present, right? I mean, and I agree you should be physically present. But what's really interesting to me is, in order to achieve the proper, I'll say, spiritual needs, requires physical presence. Okay, so you can't, because 3 minutes ago I was saying that the physical needs, the food, the water, the shelter, they follow from the spiritual realm. But it's even more than that. You can't just put a person in a situation where you can't fake the community without the physical, right? You can't put a puppet there. Do you remember the movie Castaway? I just thought of this. The movie Castaway, and Tom Hanks is stuck on the island, and he finds the volleyball, and he cuts his hand, and he makes a handprint on it, and it looks like a face, and he starts calling this guy Wilson. All right, he's longing for this connection, this physical connection, and he imbues this volleyball with a sense of humanity. He has to do that. Otherwise, that's the only way he maintains his sanity, is to do that with Wilson. And when he's getting off the island, spoiler alert, when he gets off the island, Wilson drifts away. He loses Wilson, and he's eventually all alone there without Wilson again. But even that, we know, is not real. You can't have the community without the physical presence, right? So you can't just mail it in, as they say. You can't, you talk about sending somebody a card, sending them a text message. That's great. But if you don't also meet them on Saturday afternoon for the coffee date, or the hot cocoa and raking the fall leaves, or even just to sit down and watch the game together, even if you do it in silence, maybe that's all they need. But those two pieces they're not two pieces. They are interwoven. They are alloyed, and you cannot get one without the other.
I think we need all of that ability to show up. The text message is easy because it actually, the text message is empty. The text message is you checking the box for the sake of checking the box. If you wrote a handwritten card, that's you taking time to handwrite a card. That requires you to know how to use a pen. It's physical. It's real. There's a tangible piece to it of saying, hey, this is a part of my soul on a piece of paper for you. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. Showing that kindness, showing that support, showing that ability to build community so people feel safe and warm and special. We live in a world right now. We live in an age where we are social creatures. We're incredibly social creatures. We're not able to be social. I'm not saying introvert, extrovert, social. I'm saying social as in the ability to come together, find community, and the things that make us special. Celebrate that, find that, cherish it, chase it. Be part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Someone said, "Oh, well, thanks for the text message," and I always think, because I've done that on occasion. I've sent that, and in my head I think, well, that's the least I could do. And I was like, yeah, that is pretty much the least I can do. It's very hard to do less. It's hard to do less than that, other than doing nothing at all. But the more you can physically be present, I guess physically be present to support the spiritual components of humanity that you see. All right, so that's why we break bread together, right? That's what we eat meals together, because that's fundamentally feeding all of us, our whole selves, right? We feed our whole selves that way, and I think that's a good point. That's a really, really good point to make. Is you can, sending the text message is great, but all you've really done is send a disturbance through the ether. that happens to be realized on somebody's cell phone. Um, you really need to go out there and do that. You need to go. You need to go visit your mother, right? You need to go. You need to go see your friends or watch. Go to your nephew's youth basketball game. You need to show up for them in person, and it's hard. It's really hard. We're living very fractured lives. But I guess I gotta say that there's when you look back on all the things you go to do, um, the things you will be more grateful for the decisions you made around these items, around showing up in person, than you will be saying that you checked the box. I needed to go to Machu Picchu and I couldn't wait for my friends to go with me, so I just went. And now I've checked that box and I've seen Machu Picchu. Hell, it's more fun to go get coffee with somebody than to go to Machu Picchu on your own. Zach, did I tell you this? I went to a scientific meeting once in Anaheim, and this group rented Disney World, Disneyland, whatever the one in California is. We had the whole park. We had the whole park all night, like from 6 o'clock to midnight. We had the whole park, and it was a group. I don't know, a couple hundred people, maybe 1,000 people. The line at Space Mountain, there were 4 people in front of me. 4. I ran the roller coaster. I got off and I got back on the same car. Right. But after I was there for like an hour, because I didn't really know anybody there, I was new to the group, and it wasn't any fun. It was not fun to do fun by myself, right? And I think if you're going to go on the roller coaster, go with a friend. It's better to it's better to pick up trash along the side of the road to do that kind of good with a buddy than it is to go to the Super Bowl by yourself. It's going to be more fun.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. So here's my challenge for anyone listening to this: is go seek out a friend, go do something in community, in connection with another person. Maybe it's someone you haven't seen in a while. If it's someone that maybe lives in a different state than you, reach out to them with a legitimate phone call or a voice memo, not a text message, not something half-hearted. Go be fully present with the people that we're around, seek and create community. That's all I got on my end. I want to remind you to go all seek the good, be the good, and spread the good. Enjoy the adventure of life.